Hi, and welcome back to our AI Aggregator Shootout. I'm Jonathan, and today we're going to review one of the biggest players, I believe, in the AI Aggregator market, and that's Poe, or Poe.com. Poe is made by a company you're probably familiar with from the search engine world and the internet world called Quora, and I believe it's been around longer than any of the other aggregators. Has a ton of models to choose from, a number of things to love a lot, and a few things that, well, I'm not a real big fan of. We're going to take a look today, and we're going to see how it does. All right, so this is the Poe Interface, and let's dive right into some of the good, the bad, and maybe the indifferent. So overall, again, Poe has a lot of great things going for it. I want to start right off by letting you know this is a very strong contender, and they do a great job. I also want to let you know one of the things I don't particularly care for, and it's a personal decision. I find their layout, their interface, their graphical interface to be probably the worst that I've used thus far. Now, we've only reviewed 4. This is the 4th model, so it's not a fair comparison, but of the 4 we've reviewed so far, Magi, Ruby, U, and now Poe, this is definitely my least favorite interface of them. Again, not terrible, just my least favorite. So let's take a look, though, at some of the strong points, because Poe has a lot of great things going for it. First and foremost, I want to talk about the number of models that it has available. So as we take a look here down below, I'm just going to scroll, we can take a look. They've got bots, and we're going to talk about bots in a minute. Bots are very similar to custom GPTs and things like that, but let's just take a look at some of what's here. We take a look at all the engines we've got. So they've got some predefined ones, much like some of the other models do. That's great. And then we've got Claude Sonnet, GPT-4, Mini, we've got Halo, Llama, Gemini, Mistral, other versions of ChatGPT and Gemini and Llama, and again, others, ChatGPT here again on the new preview. This is where it really, in my mind, gets impressive. So a lot of those language models, we've got all the major ones, pretty much everybody does, but Poe is the first one we've tested that actually has Flux. Flux is one of the newest AI image generation tools, and it's really cool to have that included. Some really great capabilities. I still prefer Midjourney as a general rule, but Flux is, boy, right neck and neck with that, and I'm really excited to see that. We've also got some additional models. This is another special one, Ideogram. Ideogram is not popular in the aggregator marketplace. It's a very popular tool, but we don't see it with many aggregator software. So to have it here is really impressive. DALL-E, not a big deal. That's with pretty much everybody, not my favorite tool. More Flux opportunities. Flux, by the way, has different models for different purposes, and you can see we've got 4 different Flux models here. We also have Stable Diffusion, which is another great AI image generation model. So really, really impressive with that. They've also included an upscaler, which is nice. If you generate images with AI, we have that ability to upscale those images, which is also really nice and another feature that's there. They've got Pika, which adds in some video editing, text-to-video type tools, Live Portrait that animates portraits for you, more models from Meta and Llama there that you can see, lots of different options. Probably the biggest overall list of both large language model and graphics tools, again, that I've seen. So lots and lots of models to choose from. Now, overall, that's great, but the one downside to this is if you're buying an aggregator tool, you may be buying it because you want simplicity, and it's possible, not saying it's a case, it's possible that all of these models, well, it may fall into the if you confuse, you lose model, meaning maybe it's just too many. I don't think so, but I want to caution you, if you're just looking to have it be easy, Poe may not be the right solution, not because it's bad, but simply because it has so many choices. As you continue to see me scroll down through here, more and more options, more and more things, just a plethora of things. Overall, again, I'm going to rate that good. We're going to give them a good rating because of it. But from a user experience, I want you to be aware that there is a downside to that, and that downside is just confusion overall. But tons of models to choose from, some great predefined tools like the Assistant and the web search that give us the ability to use AI online and other things like that. So there's some really good things that they're doing here, and I like that. They also have them sorted, which makes it super easy for us to figure out. We can take a look at popular ones, and this now brings in a lot of their bots that they have. So I mentioned up front, bots bots are a lot like custom GPTs or Claude projects, and we can create our own bots here within Poe. You can take a look at popular ones, new ones, professional ones, advice, learning, programming, translation. Let's say we just want to do image gen. There's all of our image gen. They do mix in their models with the custom bots that are created by customers. So you can see under popular, a lot of these, for example, are being created by users, and those are mixed in. That's okay, but again, it's just another possible area for some confusion. If you want, that's a nice thing. They do have the official tab if you click on official, and we've got lots more that's available here. So again, overall, really impressed with Poe and its capabilities, its search, but possibly, just possibly, a little too much overall. So let's go ahead and start with a prompt and see how it does. There's a lot of different things. Let's go ahead and do one of our normal prompts here. Let's say, please create, and oops, and I'm actually doing this wrong, so a little bit confusing here. There we go. That's actually searching for bots, and I would have hoped that would have been it right where I could have started choosing what to do, but I actually need to pick a model. Again, not a big deal, like I mentioned. The user interface, in my mind, is probably one of the weakest parts, but let's go ahead and click on Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and now I can go ahead and I can type some things in and figure out what I want to do. One of the nice things that they have available here is they do tell you how many points or credits that you have available. You can see that each Claude Sonnet message is going to, in this case, based on the plan that I'm on, it's going to take about 380 points. That means I'd have about 2,600 messages that I could use if I was doing that. And so, like all of the aggregator models, there are some limits in what can be done, and we'll take a look as we walk through that as well. But let's go ahead and put in a sample prompt here. So you are an expert social media copywriter. Please create a unique and viral worthy social post for Facebook about giraffes' sleeping patterns. Relatively simple prompt. We're using Claude. I expect everything to work just as you would here. One of the benefits of the aggregator models is we're not going to see a lot of difference in the results because they're using different engines across the board. So that's pretty straightforward. The reason I want to do the search, though, is I want to show you, and this is a neat feature, once this comes up, it now gives me the real easy opportunity to say, well, that's interesting. I wonder how, if that was Claude, I wonder what Mistral would do, or what O1 Mini, or what Gemini would do. It also provides some follow-ups, and I think that's a really nice feature to give me the ability to maybe go down that rabbit hole a little bit further and get some follow-ups. So I think that's really interesting. For example, let's just run this in Mistral. We'll click on the button, and just like that, we're going to switch, and we're going to now create that same prompt through Mistral Large 2, and it's going to create all that for us. So that's, again, a nice feature that I think is available and makes that super easy. And then, like I said, we can go ahead and dig down that rabbit hole or more, like finding out more information about giraffes. Notice it's going to stay in the Mistral market at this point, or Mistral engine, I should say, because that's what we were using. And again, everything's going to work here very well. So no complaints on the functionality. I think everything works great. We can go back into our chats over here and take a look at any point in time, our past chats and things that we've done. We can take a look at bots that we can create. So again, bots, as a reminder, are very much like custom GPTs, and you can create your own bots. In fact, one of the neat features is that they actually give you the ability here in Poe, as you can see from this screen, to join their creator monetization program. So this is an area where I think they've actually really one-upped what OpenAI and ChatGPT have done. OpenAI, through their custom GPT store, has been promising the ability for creators to make money. Almost a year later, they're still not giving us that ability. And Poe does that. So you can actually go and create bots here and actually get paid based upon the number of people that are using your bot. So if I wanted to create a custom bot for maybe to create image prompts, or to create prompts, or to write blog posts or anything like that, if I do that and I promote that, Poe will actually pay me a commission based on the number of users that are using that. So a nice feature overall, things that work well. Something else that Poe does really well is when you come in, they don't necessarily give you any guidance. One of the things that I liked about both Ruby and Magi is when you came in, yet actually as a new user, they gave you some recommended guidance. Poe kind of assumes, much like U.com, that you're just going to know what you're doing, but Poe does have a very in-depth help center. You can see they've even got a dedicated page here for it, a dedicated site. So there's lots and lots of information here that we can go into and take a look at. They also have a Discord channel and support. So overall, I think their support works pretty well, and I'm pretty impressed with that and capabilities. So again, overall capabilities great. One of the other things that I thought was really cool is that we actually have apps in Poe that are designed so you can download a desktop app for your computer. You can use it on iOS, on Android, wherever you want, and you've got direct apps to use as well. I'm using it through the website right here, which works great, but they claim the apps work a little faster, and sometimes that's nice to have one less tab open. So again, overall, impressed with Poe. I think it's a great value, and I think, again, everything makes sense here. As I mentioned, one of the other great things about Poe is its unbelievable options for image generation, and Flux being one of those unique ones that it has. And let's go ahead and just, we'll go ahead and pick one to try here in Flux and show you how it does. So it's a matter of picking the model that you want. We're going to use the Flux Pro 1.1. Again, it's got 4 different models, and you can see super fast response there. Really excited overall. What's neat now is, again, when this comes up, it's given us some other things like, how about we want to animate this in Pika, or maybe we want to compare this in Ideogram, or we want to upscale it in Upscaler. We can also take a look and try it in Stable Diffusion. And this makes it great when you're looking around trying to identify different opportunities and different things. You can see different models are going to do very differently. So the top one is Flux. Then we've got Stable Diffusion. We can go ahead, let's take a look and do it in, I don't want to do Dolly, I'm not going to like that one. So let's go ahead and take a look at it here in Pika. Or I don't know what one I just clicked on now that I did that. Let's find out here real quick. Well, Playground, that's what I clicked on. So notice this one's taking a little bit longer. Different models are going to take different lengths of time depending on server load. But again, overall, again, I find the performance to be very acceptable, and I love the ability to do different things. So there's another option here. Let's go back up to this option. I like this. This is great. We can take a look at that. Let's go in and say, why don't we want to, again, we can rate it. We can say what we like. I was looking to see if I could go back and animate that one. Looks like I would actually have to go back and do that again. So let's go back and create it with Flux Dev here real quick. We'll get another Flux. This is a different Flux model, so it's going to take possibly just a little bit longer than Pro, but we'll take just a moment. And then we'll take this one, and then let's try to animate it using Pika. So there we're going to go. Add bot and send message. There we go. And Pika will actually take that image. It's going to take a moment to process because it's actually creating a video out of it. But again, nice to have this here and have this included. All right, so I paused the video just for a moment while that was, so you didn't have to watch it. It took about a minute, not too bad. And let's go ahead and take a look now at this animated video. And you can see it did a really cute job of taking that video and animating it, just doing a little zoom effect. And again, nice features to have set up and working across the board. So good example of the image capabilities here. Let's go and try out Ideogram real quick. Let's go back up to models here again. Go back to our basics and let's pick Ideogram. For those of you who don't know, Ideogram tends to be a really good one when we want to put text on it. So let's just say, let's do a photo of a work van with the text FBI. If I can type it. Let's say FBI Internet. We'll make this hard. Probing. So we're going to put that, and we're going to see if it puts that on the side of the van. It'll take just a second. Again, Ideogram is a great tool overall, but one of the real areas it excels is in putting text on images. Most of the image models don't do a great job of that. Midjourney does an okay job. Flux does an okay job. Ideogram generally does one of the best jobs. And let's see how it does here. There we go. And notice we got the spelling right. So it did just what we wanted. It gave us a photo of a work van, and it put FBI Internet Probing on there, even added a symbol for a government type thing. So again, not saying it's perfect, but overall the ability to put that text on is great. Otherwise, you've got to use Photoshop or something like that. So again, another bonus over here for Poe is just the flexibility of its models. So accessing Poe's pricing information after you signed up is a little bit more difficult, and I didn't grab a screenshot. If memory serves me right, their basic plan is $19.99 a month, and then you can also buy a yearly plan and save money by doing that. So a couple different plans that are available for you on Poe, and they make it super easy to get involved and start using. With that, let's go ahead and let's move over to our scoring sheet, and we'll take a look at that next. All right, so let's take a look at Poe from a scoring perspective. If you guys remember, we're using the exact same setup as we go down to try to be fair to everybody. So let's walk through and see how we did. So account setup. Account setup was super easy, as all of them have been, no issues whatsoever, made that process easy to do. The user interface. Now, this is the one area where I did mark Poe down. Again, personal preference only, but I'm not a fan of the Poe interface. Yeah, I don't like it for whatever reason. It just doesn't seem great. I think they could definitely improve that. But it is what it is, and it's functional, but I didn't rate them as highly as I have the others. I think that the others like Magi and Ruby and even U.com have a much nicer interface than what Poe does. As far as model availability, they got a 10 out of 10. I have never tested an aggregator with more models available, and if that's interesting to you, Poe is definitely a great thing to be taking a look at. Cost efficiency, very simple, and I gave them a 9. Thought about giving them an 8 here because they don't have like a team plan or anything like that, but your pricing structure is super simple, so we gave them a 9 there. Performance and speed, an 8, just like we've done to the others. Everything really works as expected. Doesn't seem like there's any throttling or everything else, so overall good speed. We gave them a 5 on integration capability. So this is an area where so far everybody's been on a 0 because they haven't really had them. Poe provides some limited integration capabilities, and they have some APIs that as a developer you can connect into and things like that. So while it doesn't truly give you the ability to connect to the API of other applications like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude, they do have some, and so we gave them some credit there. Again, the others that we've tested so far got 0s in this area because they didn't have any capability, so a big bonus point-wise, at least for Poe, in the fact that they had that ability to do some API availability and things like that. So training and customization, again, because of their bots and the training, I gave them an overall 9 availability. Like I said, the only complaint I had is that when I first signed in, they just assume that you're going to know what to do. And as you could even see in the video, because I've not used Poe a lot, I even made a mistake and started exploring versus finding a model and prompting. So I can't give them a 10 there. Output quality, the accuracy of the responses, exactly what I'd expect. We're going to give them a full 10 out of 10 there. Data security and privacy, again, doing the research, it appears they've done a good job on that. I'm not a data security expert, so we're going to rate them an 8 there because it seems like they're doing things as they should. Customer support, I did not have the need to reach out to, but I like the fact that, like many of the others, they have a specific Discord channel that I can connect with and I can ask questions on. They also have an FAQ and other areas. So overall, again, I think a good job on customer support. Documentation, get a little bit light on documentation, as I mentioned, so I'm going to give them a 7 there. And scalability, mainly because of the bots capabilities, I'm going to give them a 9 over here. So far as we go through, that's a 98 on a total score. And if we compare real quick, as we do on our recaps, Magi came in at a 96, Ruby came in at a 95, U.com came in at an 88, and Poe is our current leader overall with 98. Now again, this doesn't mean just because it's a 98 that's the best model for everybody. I don't want to say that, but it is a good model. It would not be my personal preference only because of the user interface that I'm not a big fan of. But again, if that doesn't bother you, this may be a great option. Lots of great features. Those features, again, may be positives or negatives depending on if you find them overwhelming or not. But overall, a very solid contender and definitely one to look out for. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next review as we continue the shootout of 11 of the top AI aggregator models available.